Well, hello again, everyone, and welcome to our latest webcast that we're bringing you from Travel Weekly as part of our Roadmap to Recovery series. And I'm delighted to be joined today by Steve Witt, who is the co-founder of Not Just Travel. Hi, Steve, how are you?
I'm very good, Lucy. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, we're delighted to talk to you today because you've obviously made some bold announcements about your growth plans, and we just wanted to grill you a bit about them to find out what you're planning or how you're planning to grow in the way that you said. I think you want to double your size in 12 months. Well, you already got, I believe, about 800 members. That's quite a lot already, and you've been growing, I think, through the pandemic. So perhaps sort of update us on numbers and then what you're hoping to do over the next year.
So yeah, the pandemic has obviously been a challenging time for everyone, but we were head down, focused. We've had a lot of positive news throughout. We've been very sort of focused on looking after the existing home working team we've got. And, you know, I think probably the same for everyone. It's just been about sort of looking after everyone in lockdown 1 and 2, but the growth that we've seen in this sort of tail end of the lockdown has been phenomenal. We've had the growth in terms of new sales, great. In terms of new home workers, franchisees joining the business has been phenomenal, unexpected to a large extent. There's so much confidence out there. You know, we started our travel business back in the day before 9/11, if we can remember back that far, a time when no one wanted to get on a plane.
Yeah.
Yet now it's the complete opposite. Everyone's desperate to get on a plane, but can't. So we can see all this pent up demand. We know by talking to our trade partners that our sales are incredibly strong compared to our sort of competitors. So we want to keep sort of building upon that success. And we can see that it's a bit of a gold rush ahead of us, if you like. For the next 2 years, we really see there's a huge amount of potential. So we just wanted to make the most of it, build on what we've already got, great foundations, and just keep layering on more.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. You've introduced a lot of themes there around demand and everything. So let's just go through it then bit by bit, if you don't mind. So am I right in saying you've got about 800 members, and did they all trade through the pandemic, or did you advise some of them to kind of hibernate? Because it must have been very hard for some people. I mean, how did you cope with the existing members you had first of all, and then we'll move on to your plans for getting more?
Yeah, so we've had about 800, well, over 850 join us since we started years ago. Obviously, not everybody still active, but a bulk remain active throughout the pandemic. We obviously had everyone focused on customer retention, bookings, refunds, etc., just like you had to. But then we also helped many of them find work throughout. Just sort of, we sort of introduced extra work and cash flow into those home workers throughout the pandemic to help them, keep them on board. We did a lot to help with mindset and coaching and business development. We've helped people with. And
did you lose any through the pandemic, Steve? Sorry to interrupt, but did anyone actually say, you know, that they couldn't continue because they just didn't have the finances?
A very small percentage, because we helped financially a lot of people. We helped finding customers. We also gave people a focus. We helped them with their sort of getting the bounce back loans, and we did as much as we possibly could, remembering that everyone is self-employed.
Yes.
Works with us. So but mindset's a really big part of this. So if you can see an end, if you know that there's potential to come, then you're willing to invest and sort of take out the bounce back loans, those type of things.
Yeah, okay. So you get a lot of advice around that, because obviously we've heard many stories and we reported on them about people having to take second jobs because obviously travel wasn't really, hasn't been happening. So they've been working in supermarkets or volunteering on things like that. So did you find a lot of your members had to do that just for certainly lockdown 1 and 2?
Yeah, definitely some. And like I said, we helped some people find extra incomes, because obviously, you know, cash flow is the most important part of any business. But we've helped those people run their business part-time. We've helped pick up the slack in many ways. And then now that they can see that things are starting to happen, they're sort of reducing down their hours in their part-time jobs to focus on their travel business. And some people have been able to continue full-time in the business by getting bounce back loans and things like that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Very interesting. So then, in terms of moving forward, you've talked about creation of these 4 divisions, and I think you said you're going to tell us some more detail in time. But obviously, I'm going to ask you for some more detail now. Now you've talked about recruitment, sales, referrals, and sort of the customer. So can you just perhaps outline what your thinking is on that?
Absolutely. Obviously, a lot of trade secrets, so I don't want to say too much, but first and foremost, it's about looking after our existing home working team and expanding that, helping them find more customers, build their businesses. We've already seen a big increase in the average booking value, so a lot more activities there. Then we're introducing new ways of finding more customers. We're looking at expanding our home working sort of division anyway, expanding the experience travel network, because we're very well known for introducing brand new people into the industry. But
well, actually, I was going to ask, of these people that have joined you through the pandemic, Steve, have they been people that have been displaced from elsewhere in travel? Because we know a lot of that's happened. Yep. Or have you had people, because you have got, as you say, you've been very good at getting people in who have got no travel experience previously and then moving them into travel. So what's been the split?
It's been been a real mixture, and that's one of the sort of impetus, I guess, or catalyst for us increasing that side of the business, because we've got some great examples of people joining us and really seeing great success. So we want to help more people do the same. So we've got new initiatives to bring brand new people into the industry and existing people into the industry in big numbers. So
and can you drill tell us what you mean? I know you don't want to give away, because clearly you've got competitors who have similar models, but what kind of things will you be doing to get these new people on board?
We can't tell you just yet, but we will be announcing it soon. So some of them are really groundbreaking, some of them are just creating wow out of what we already do in the industry. So it's a mixture, but 4 key areas we'll be working on, and I think it'll be a surprise once we launch them. And some of it is also just, like I say, improving on what we already do. So we're a relationship-based company. So typically our customers are very loyal to us because they're friends, family, people we know, and that's made it a lot easier to go and find those customers during these periods, because it's all about trust. So we're going to build on that, but not forgetting that we also want to create these experiences for customers. So there's a huge amount of investment into technology right now. So our biggest ever investment into the platform that our guys use to manage their business, but also to create a much better experience for customers.
So yeah, so this is the 2 things you've said. You've significant investment in a business management platform and a bespoke customer database. So that's the 2 things you're talking about. So this is something that all your members can have access to, or would immediately be put onto these platforms, would they?
Yeah, so obviously we work with Hays very closely, but we don't just use their system. We've sort of created our own system bespoke to our business, which really helps drive the business. There's been so much to do in the last year with rebookings, cancellations, refunds. It's just been an absolute nightmare for anybody in any business to keep on top of. So as a result, we very quickly put money into creating the systems and processes to make it easier for our members to actually run their businesses.
And can I ask, in a crisis that we've been in, when people have been financially, struggling, where have you got the money from to make this investment? Is this like how are you funded as an organization, and where are you getting this extra funding from to make these changes?
Well, a mixture. So obviously we're a franchise organization, so we have franchise revenue, which absolutely helps. And we've always been very honest and said that none of that money, all of that money goes into reinvesting back into our franchise. So we profit from the sale of holidays, not from the franchise fee. So that enables us, we've got cash reserves to be able to build the business based on having, that side of the business, which a lot of other travel companies don't have. But then we've also been really good at selling holidays. So, I come from a background, for example, where I was very lucky to sell a big IT company many years ago. So, we're a well-funded company in many ways. We've never borrowed money. And so we're fortunate, if you like, but we've not rested on our laurels in that respect. We keep growing the business.
Yeah, and I mean, people do say that, don't they? In a crisis, you've got to look for opportunities, and you've got to kind of invest, even though it probably feels like you want to just shut the door and it's just really scary. But it sounds like you've definitely gone for that. Well, I'm not saying taking a risk, but you are sort of speculating to accumulate, aren't you?
Well, I think the travel industry is the best industry in the world for its comebacks. You know, we see through every crisis. This one's been longer than any other,
Yeah.
but you know, it will come back, and I think it will come back bigger than ever, but better than ever, because I think tour operators have adapted, travel agents have adapted, you know, everyone's had to adapt, the customers have adapted. So I think customers are going to get a much better experience when they start traveling again, much more flexible terms, you know, and I think it's a win-win for everybody, as long as everyone just holds their ground and sees it out until we start traveling again.
Okay. I want to come and talk about demand and the way you sell holidays and how well you're doing at it. But just before we move on from this kind of these four divisions, you talked about them being sort of or being run like separate businesses. So how will that change things in terms of your members and for your trade partners, your suppliers, you know, if you're going to have these four separate businesses? Can you explain that at all?
I think it's more to do with the business economics. It's profit centers. It's just making sure each one is a strong business in its own right. So our members will not necessarily benefit from all, or may choose not to benefit from all of the sectors, or they may choose to be a part of all of them. That's entirely up to them. So they'll be able to pick and choose. So
will their fees change as a result? I mean, or will they, you know, if they only want to have access to the CRM, for example, but not the business management or whatever, will they still pay the same, or will there be different structures?
We have a philosophy, which probably our accountants hate, that we just try and give everything to everybody where we can. So you know, if you join the business, there's not lots of upgrade fees as and when, you know, we do things. As long as we can do it, we will do it. So wherever possible, there's, you know, it's already included for everybody.
Okay. And obviously you've promoted Cheryl this week, so she's got this new role of Chief of Staff, and she only joined you last June, so that's obviously quite exciting for her. You've obviously seen an opportunity there. You've talked about her being in charge of this culture. You've talked about it being a bold new role, and I think we said audacious plans was the quote from the story about her appointment. So what's that all about then? And she also talked about bringing on some other great people, because you're going to have some new roles, I guess, at head office to sort of facilitate all these things that you're doing. So just talk us through her, you know, that sort of thinking with her role and future roles.
Yeah, so I mean, it was probably quite audacious bringing Cheryl back in lockdown 1 in the first place. But the business has grown, evolved. We've got all these, you know, huge plans for what's coming next. Paul and I are very much hands-on in the business still. So it's very difficult to have like an MD type role in the business, because it'd be unfair on whoever we put in that role, because, you know, we are too hands-on, owner operator type position. So Cheryl's basically heading up the team, and as you know, a business is only as good as the people in the business. So we want to make sure we've got that right culture, we've got all the right people joining us in the business, and everyone working towards that big vision that we've got. Paul and I will focus on the business development, the strategy of the business. Cheryl will run, crosses over every sort of part of the business, whether it be operational, marketing, business development side of things. That all comes under the Chief of Staff.
It's a big role that she's taking on.
Exactly. And it's hence, you know, we've got to have the right person, and she's the first big appointment, if you like, of many that are going to follow, as we really need to have all the right people on this bus for the journey that's ahead of us.
So, and when you say the many that will follow, I mean, have you got an idea? And we're talking about other senior people then, are we not, you know, like real sort of leaders who are going to be sort of taking this business forward that we might have known?
Yeah, so we've got a great team already, and that won't change, but we will bring more senior people in to head up the sort of new areas of the business.
Yeah.
You know, we make an announcement soon about new appointments. The team, the corporate team itself, will probably double in size over the next 12 months to support the growth.
And so what's that from what to what? Sorry, I just don't know.
So we're 40 at the moment.
Okay.
Plus we've got the backup and support of everything, at Hayes as well. So, the virtual team is a lot bigger, but 40.
So this is exciting because there's a lot of people at the moment who haven't got positions because of the situation that we've been in, and companies had to downsize. So that you're creating, you're saying at least 40 roles for senior, travel executives who want to get on your bus, so to coin your phrase.
Yeah. And that's, completely separate to the increase in the franchise home working numbers that will grow as well. So, we already think that we provide more support than anybody else to our members. If you look at the ratio of sort of what we call a partnership manager, a BDM, other people might call it. So BDMs to sort of members is a very strong ratio. And we just want to keep increasing that to help people grow their businesses.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's talk then. You've mentioned sort of suppliers being delighted with your performance during the pandemic. You've talked about, suppliers are telling us how strong our sales are compared to our rivals. So let's just go through some of the figures. I mean, I think I've got some of them here, that you had 50% more holiday sales in March than in January, and you mentioned earlier your average booking value. I mean, it's gone from 2,800 in 2019 to 4,356 pounds. I mean, that's staggering. So what is that? Just everyone selling different types of product? Is it customers upgrading because they've been stuck at home and they're just willing to splash out? What do you put it down to?
I think, it's a combination of things. The guys at G Adventures, I think, coined the phrase of the milestone holiday, which I thought was great, because it's not a once in a lifetime holiday. It's people like planning that fantastic holiday. They've saved up during lockdown because you've not been able to go to the pub, so you've got money burning a hole in your pocket. So they are planning these bigger trips. There are so many great deals at the moment that you'd be silly not to make the most of them. And those prices will no doubt rise as we start traveling again. So there's that. There's the ability to pay on direct debit. So many reasons why booking a holiday now is so much easier.
But that could be through any travel agency or any travel. So why do you think that not just travel agents are doing so much better?
Genuinely, I'd say it's because of the relationships. So they always say in sales that before anyone will buy anything, they need to know you, like you, and trust you. Well, we've got the ultimate, because our entire business is built on relationships. So that's part of what we teach is talk to your friends, family, people they will always be your best customers. And why would your best friend not book a holiday with you if that's your business? And that's what's happened throughout lockdown, and continues to happen now, that people want advice. They've not been able to go to the high street. They've not maybe trusted online travel agencies. There's always bad press about refunds. So who do I talk to? I'll talk to my friend, and that is the bedrock of our business.
Now, you've said here you've got this new sort of growth plan or growth path is going to make you a dominant force in the industry. And I think, with all respect, it's fair to say that you were a bit of a new kid on the block, and we had some other established home working firms that it feels now that you're coming of age, and that you're saying yourselves you're really going to be up there with some of the biggest. So what, is that just about scale, or what makes you say that?
Well, with all the grey hair, we can't be the new kids on the block anymore. I think we've kept ourselves to ourselves very much over the last few years, and now we want to get out there because we want to recruit, for example, the very best talent in the industry. So to do that, we've got to shout about what we're doing. We are about to put on a whole series of new trade events as well, to work with our trade partners, to educate them about what we do, how we work, how we can work better with them. So
this is your sort of head office staff talking to your sort of suppliers about
Correct.
Why they should be working with you guys.
Yeah, and showing them what we do and why we're that little bit different, so that they can work better with us. Because like we say, our home workers or our team haven't necessarily worked in travel before, so it is a different relationship. So it's the more that we all understand each other, the more we will grow together. So to do that, we've got to shout about what we're doing, because we want to engage as many people as possible.
And do you find that the way suppliers are working, or their, it's the right word, but the way they're viewing you has changed over time? Because clearly they like to go for people who are established and they've got experience and they've sold travel, but are they now kind of thinking, well, hold on, these guys, even though they're not necessarily as experienced in travel, they've obviously had the training and they've got this sort of structure behind them from not just travel, that they're a really good retail partner?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's certain partners that we've worked with really closely over the years. Gold Medal, for example, they used to come in and be a part of our training sessions for all new people joining the business. So it was always the first name that they knew. And as a result, we are the #1 home working agency every single week at the moment. So it's that relationship that matters. And that's what we're trying to educate people. And we've got countless examples of other operators where we have that relationship, that it absolutely works. And people want to do business with us because of that.
And what's the goal, Steve? Is it to be the #1 home working agency for every trade partner, or is it to be the #1, agency full stop, whether you're home working, where do you see yourselves getting to?
#1 from a customer perception point of view. It's not about the number of customers and the size of the business. It's about, for us, building a fantastic network of home workers, entrepreneurs, because that's our passion, is really helping people start a business and grow their business and be successful, because it's their passion. So that really creates a buzz for us. And then on the back of that, to achieve that, you've got to have happy customers. So the awards for winning customer service, home working agency, those are the things that really matter to us, because that's the sort of recognition that we're looking for. It's not, like I say, about being the #1 in terms of holiday sales. It's the best experience for us.
Well, of course, at the moment, we're still waiting, aren't we, for the announcement about which destinations are going to go onto the green list. That's key for everybody, and we'll hopefully get another real boost when that happens. But what are your views based on the Global Travel Task Force report and the sort of next phase for travel?
I think at the moment, obviously, sales for next year and later this year are still going really strong. We're all just holding bated breath for the next couple of months. Where can we go on our last minute holidays, summer holidays? As soon as there is an announcement, I think we only need one country on that green list, and that will be enough of a trigger for everyone to start that frenzy. And then it's only a matter of time before more countries get added to the list. So just one country is all we need to get us started. Of
course, it'll be a stampede for it if there's only one.
Well, let's hope it's not Gibraltar, because it will just fill the island, won't it?
There won't be enough room for us all. Okay, but most of your sales, I think you've said that 60% of your sales are for winter 21 onwards, but there's clearly a need, isn't there, for people to get something away this summer, as you pointed out, that cash flow is so important. So that we do need something of a summer, and you sound like you're confident that we'll get something.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the staycations have been phenomenal. I mean, that's just so great to see that happening. And I think we're all going to be booked on one of those cruise ships, I think. So that's been great for business. But UK sales as a whole, never been so good, obviously. I mean, our sales across the board are great. USA is a big seller for us right now.
And who'd have thought that might come on a list sooner than so many parts of Europe?
Oh, absolutely. But our UK sales outnumber our USA sales 3-1 at the moment. And the USA sales are still phenomenal. So that's just trying to put it into context, that UK is still so big. And
with the UK and the domestic stuff, like you said, the staycations have been brilliant, but we've lost a few suppliers in that market in terms of people who will sell through either they've gone completely or they've gone direct sales. So are your members or your home workers finding enough to sell and earn a commission on?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's tougher. There isn't the range of suppliers we'd like, but whether it be hotels or campsites or caravanning or boating holidays, there is plenty of choice. They're going to have availability issues soon, but we are still managing to sell in volume right now.
And presumably, as soon as we hear what's on the green list, you'll be ready to switch to whichever destinations they are as well.
Oh, absolutely. I'll be front of the queue.
I'll be there with you, I think. All right. Thanks very much.
No worries.